All right. We are back with episode 2 of Feature Friday. So you're going to wait while everyone files in here. Want to give a huge thank you to everyone who joined us 2 weeks ago on our reintroduction of this series. Had amazing engagement. The chat was booming. Really enjoyed that. So hopefully we can, get it going again for this episode as we talk to you all about supercharging your help desk with the HaloPSA integration. We have some familiar faces on the call with us who we'll introduce in just a second, but in the back room or the green room, I should say, we were just talking about, traveling, booking flights home for the holidays and how expensive tickets have been recently. So want to know if anyone is traveling or planning to travel for the holidays. I know me personally, I was going to book a ticket back to Connecticut and the prices skyrocketed to like $500 a ticket. I'm used to paying like $100 for a round trip. So that was a nice surprise for me. I don't know if Neil, I heard that you had a little travel story on the ticket
Yeah,
prices too.
yeah, from Canada up north to Hawaii, Honolulu, it was 1,500 like 2 months ago, and now it's about 3,000. So that totally would probably put a dent in a lot of people's travel plans if they're trying to get tickets right now.
Absolutely. I just opened up the chat too, by the way. So anyone traveling for the holidays, planning on traveling, and while we do that, I'm going to actually skip over here. We'll introduce our panel, hop right into the content. Like we mentioned, these are meant to be very quick breaks in your Friday. We want to talk about the value of some of the solutions we have, and not even just cyber QP solutions, but how as MSPs can improve your security with certain tools. So let's start with Neil. How about we kick it off?
Hi everyone. I'm Neil Shrestebridge. That's a long last name there. I'm a product owner here at CyberQP. I've been here for almost 2 years, and I've been in the MSP industry for about 5 years. One of my first jobs in my past life. I work on bugs and features, and pretty much the design of functionality with our product and design team here at CyberQP. And I'll pass the baton on to Michael.
Hey folks, Michael Garrity here, Manager of Sales Engineering. Here at CyberQP, I manage our pre-sales team, which handles all the engagements with prospects, current partners, but as well as the post-sale, which is handling the onboarding. Been here about a year and a half now, but been in the MSP space for probably 8 years-ish now, let's call it.
Stefan?
No,
Awesome.
yeah,
Yeah,
Stefan, go
so
ahead.
I'm Stephen Tomeko. I run the partner success team here. So we're here to make sure that all our partners have the best success possible with their software, and we're enabling their teams to hit their goals there.
Awesome. And Stefan, I'm going to pick on you for our first little conversation that we're going to have. Really want to lean on the reason why I like to have Stefan on these calls is because he talks to MSPs at trade shows and then also, is on calls with our partners on a day-to-day basis, has a lot of insights on the industry and, what MSPs are doing nowadays. Um, as we go through Qdesk and our integration with Halo that's coming out, all the cool Omnipod capabilities, we are going to, cover some things on, best practices for verifying your identities. And Stefan, I wanted to know, why is that so important? And in the chat for everyone else, are you guys currently verifying identities? What are some of the ways you're doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that ID verification has never been more important than it is today. When you look back at the statistics from the last 2 years, about 90% of attacks are using stolen valid credentials. So it's not that people are, sitting in a dark room and breaking your passwords or anything like that. They're buying or stealing actual passwords and using those. So having an extra layer of verification on top of that to ensure that the people who are using those passwords are actually the right people is very important. To compound the problem, 98% of those attacks included social engineering. So people trying to impersonate other people and trick people into giving over their valid credentials so that they can start running attacks. Now, to make it even worse, we have the rise of certain things with AI tools like vishing, where you're able now to spoof somebody's voice just with a small sample of their voice. And I'm sure some of you have heard about what happened at the MGM Grand. We had some guys actually there when the MGM Grand attack happened, and it took 4 hours for them to get into their room. Everything went down, and it was 15 minutes of work. 5 minutes of social engineering, sorry, 10 minutes of social engineering, a 5-minute phone call, and the MSP who was handling the security for MGM Grand coughed up the MFA and password. And so having a tool that helps you know that the people who are actually interacting with you are the right people is critical. And to make it even better, obviously we've been using email and SMS to do verification for years, but that can be hacked. Your cards can be SIM swapped. So what we're trying to do is something better, which is having a biometrically locked uh, verification app so that you can ensure that the people who are calling in are actually the people you should be dealing with.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet that some of the MSPs on our call were probably in attendance at that show during the MGM Grand attack. I was there, so I was, experiencing getting taken to my room. Elevators were, not working. There were people scanning your door key, going in and out. Couldn't leave your room after a certain time. Things like that. Definitely wasn't the best situation. As we see, we got a question in the chat. We will definitely get to your questions towards the end. Keep them coming. That was our favorite part actually of the first episode. Continuing with you, Stefan. So what are some other ways that Qdesk really saves MSP technicians time?
Yeah, great question. So, according to Gartner, from logging the ticket to closing the ticket, the average password reset ticket takes about 20 minutes, including verification and all the steps we need to make, navigating away into Entra or AD. And what we're really enabling people to do here is to cut that down to about 5 minutes. We have the ID verification, password reset, account unlock features built directly into your PSA ticket. So your L1 tech doesn't need to navigate away from their PSA. They'll see the ticket come in. They'll be able to take action directly against that ticket, ensure the right person is interacting with them and they verified that identity. We'll log all that in the back end, and then we can unlock their account, reset their password, close that ticket really rapidly. And the other thing too is it allows us to have some least privileged access going with our techs. Not saying that we shouldn't trust our L1 techs, but the less that they have to interact directly with Entra and AD, probably better. So let's keep them in the ticket and have that work outside of those work centers there.
Yeah, and to answer Pete's question, we do integrate with ConnectWise PSA, also Datto Autotask, and now Halo. One of the reasons for integrating with some of these tools that you guys are using the most is to, help you consolidate your stack. And Stefan, as you're speaking with MSPs, how important is it to have these integrations? How important is it for efficiency's sake to, have a consolidated stack for MSPs?
I think it's huge. I think especially in our space, time is money. And anytime we can save some time, and and I'm sure you guys have seen this too in your businesses, sometimes it's the switching cost. If you have an L1 focused on tickets and they have to leave that ticketing system to jump into 1, 2, 3 different platforms to get their job done, how long does it take them to get back on track with their projects that they're running day to day? And so being able to work out of a single platform to close the majority of your verification and password tickets, it's going to save you a lot of time. It's going to save you switching costs, keep your team focused, and it's going to allow you to, increase that efficiency in your team there.
Absolutely. And without further ado, we're going to show you some new unreleased footage from Garrity. Who's going to share the Halo integration for the first time live.
Pressure's on. So I'm curious, out of all of our attendees out there, want to know how many of you are currently partners with us and how many aren't. So in the chat, if you're a partner, just put like a number 0. If you're not a partner, go ahead and just put a number 1.
The binary, love it.
Yeah. Let's see, 0s, 1s. Oh wow, a lot of
Lots of partner.
Yeah, cool. All right, so I was just curious how many people might recognize some of the features already, and the PSA integration might be new, and how many just are coming in fresh to this. All right. So here we go. Let me just double check. Screen sharing the right one. All right. So for those of you that out there who are using HaloPSA, which I assume would be most if you're on the call, this will probably look familiar to you. So right now I am inside of a ticket. It just so happens this was a password reset ticket. Now, we had just talked about verifying end users' identities. So probably, I'd like to say like 2-3 months ago now, we came out with our initial version of the HaloPSA integration, where you can verify end user identities just using the contact information inside of HaloPSA. But now this new version really expands out to what we've had historically for both ConnectWise and Autotask, but we also take it a step further and added in a bunch of new improvements from the feedback we've gotten from our existing integrations. Before anyone asks, yeah, all these features are going to be backported to the existing integrations in the near future. So to jump in, I'll point out some key differences on what's changed and how this might differ from our existing dashboard. So we've talked about identity verification a bit. Now, here we have a few different methods that we could use to identify this end user who's calling in. So first would be via SMS. But historically, you were only able to use the SMS information that was stored inside of the CyberQP system. But with the changes we've made, you can now use the contact information that is tied to the PSA contact. So here we'll see I have a preferred number, which is stored inside of Halo. We'll have the number that's coming from CyberQP, and then we'll have another phone number here, but it looks like someone's cat ran across the keyboard because there's way too many digits there, and our system recognizes it's invalid. So of course you wouldn't be able to select that. Now, for today, I'm not demoing the full functionality, showing you the SMSs and typing them in and everything. I just want to give you an idea of what the platform has and how it's changed, as I know we're trying to keep our time down on the session today. But for the same thing for email addresses, right? Historically, we've only used the email address coming from CyberQP. Now, if you're storing your email information inside of HaloPSA, you could use that. Self-serve app, we have the CyberQP app where we can send push notifications or push notifications with verification codes. But something new here, which we actually just released for the CyberQP dashboard, but is also in the new HaloPSA, is our integration with Microsoft Authenticator, being able to send a push directly to the Microsoft Authenticator. All right. Next up, actually, here, let me just trigger one of these off. All right. So outside of identity verification, you'll also have the ability to reset passwords. Stefan was talking about it before on, hey, you know, if you have someone level 1 and you don't want to give them access to a server, you want them to be able to take some easy actions right from within inside of the ticket. And again, remember, this is a password reset ticket. Your technician can easily do so. So by clicking reset password, we have this password generator here. But something that's changed with the HaloPSA integration is that when you're generating a password here, you have the option to change these I'm sorry, I'm stumbling over my words here. You have a few different additional options than you have historically. So previously we had passphrases of 4 or 5 words, but now you could bring this all the way up to 8 words, right? If you want the words to be long or short, if you want to change the separator from hyphens to space, or from periods to commas to underscores, if you want to include numbers, exclude numbers. For complex passwords, you can now choose if you want numbers or numbers and symbols. So we really brought this far away from what we've had historically. And again, if you're generating a password right from here, you could easily click reset password, and then that will go to whatever the directory source was. In this case, this was an Active Directory user, but whether it was Active Directory, local, M365, you know, a hybrid account, you're still going to be able to do that for this user, depending where you had imported them from. Our password reset links, not much has changed there in terms of being able to send a password reset link directly to a user. So again, with this, you can now choose the PSA contact information rather than using just the information in the CyberQP system. Big feature that we got is the welcome email. So for those of you that aren't familiar with what the CyberQP welcome email is, right now, when you import a user, they're coming from Active Directory or M365, and that's where we're getting their contact information from. A lot of MSPs I talk to say, hey, we're not storing our end users' mobile numbers inside of Active Directory so that when they come into the CyberQP system, all you have is an email address. Well, this welcome email allows you to send them a quick email, which will prompt them to enter in their phone number. And this way they could fully utilize all of the features that CyberQP has to offer for them. Additionally, the self-service toggle, that was another big piece of feedback we got, is with our existing integrations, folks want to be able to enable or disable a self-service option. So I don't think we really talked too much about self-service, but again, with Qdesk, we could allow the end users to self-service these type of actions. So in this case, they'd called in the help desk, and yeah, we make it easy for your technician to reset that password. But ideally, you want to eliminate this ticket altogether from coming into your help desk to give you some time back. So with self-service, right from our mobile app, your end user can change the password themselves without needing to reach out to you. And if you wanted to toggle that on or off for specific users, you could do so right here instead of having to go back into the CyberQP dashboard. One other thing that's changed, sorry, I forgot about this, is with the identity verification. I don't think this isn't a real number, just fake one I typed in there, so I won't be able to have the actual number. But when you send a verification now, this is, again, another piece of feedback we had. Previously, your technician would see the number as well, and then they'd ask the end user to read the number off to them. They'd say, hey, it's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or whatever it might be. And all the technician would have to do is click approve because they'd see the number on the screen. But the feedback we got from partners is, as much as I trust my technicians, I don't want them to see the code because, maybe they actually do recognize someone's voice. They were talking about them with their kids and like, yeah, I feel bad for you. You're in a desperate situation. I'll give you a one-off and just click verify anyways. Right. But now they don't have the ability to do that. So if I don't have the code, right, if I just put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's the wrong code. Right. So unless your technician actually has the correct code, they're not going to be able to approve this verification. And again, this timed out. So just another security feature that we had added as we changed all the functionality here for the HaloPSA. All right. And I think that's about everything I have for you guys today.
Awesome. It was my first time seeing that demo live too. I know, Garrity, you were practicing with that over the last couple of days, but definitely love the new additions that our team has made. Any questions or comments in the chat, please keep them coming. And I'm going to pass it over to Neil for some quick fire releases. We're also going to queue up a little bit of tension for episode 3 towards the end of this session. So.
Thank you. So just a little recap of things happening in product line here. We've successfully deployed 14 bug fixes and features related to bugs and new features, such as the things that you just saw Michael demonstrating there. The changes include exporting your current events. You can now go to your events page in the dashboard and filter by a customer, specific event type, or a technician, aka a certain person's name like Jared or Michael, and then click a download CSV button. So there, it might be hard to see, but in that little picture, that graphic on the right hand side, you'll see the download CSV button. We had 27 votes for this request on our feature request board. And it was we had the right timing to go after making that feature. So we prioritized and delivered that request. Excuse me. And another feature that we released is for all of our tenants using the Technician Vault, you can now view up to 30 password revisions for a password record, including the current value, for any passwords that are related to directory accounts. So any of those passwords that you match to Active Directory or maybe a local system account, you can now go to the password page, click on the eye icon for any old password and see what those ones were in the past. This is useful when you probably have to do a backup recovery type situation on a server, and you go into CyberQP to fetch the password, but the current password is not the one that will let you back into that system. You'll actually have to go down on the list and then find an old password, click on the I, and then use that old value to now get back into that system. So our password revisions feature will help you do that. And on to the next slide. We have also upgraded our IT glue password rotation algorithm, and we've rewritten it and enhanced it so well that over 4 key intervals on October 19th to the 22nd, we reduced our exposure to getting 429 rate limiting error codes by 4x. So prior to that time frame, without the rewriting that we did, we were receiving a lot of rate limiting responses when we were trying to do password rotations with the IT Glue API. But with the dedicated work of our dev team and leadership and product team, and then firing on all cylinders here, we were able to improve the service stability and our customer experience for IT Glue password rotations. So there's nothing visual or fancy that you might see on the dashboard, but just know that you have a way better success rate when you're using the IT Glue integration with CyberQP. And also end user verification with the Microsoft Authenticator. We've had this in the dashboard for a little while now. And so even if you don't have a PSA that we support that you can plug into us, you can still just use our admin.getquickpass.com website to go in there and do these type of verifications outside of the PSA. And regarding the Microsoft Authenticator feature, we're going to share more about this feature on our next Friday webinar. And next slide, yep. And coming soon, we're going to let you unlock, lock, reset Entra, AD, or local end user accounts directly inside of HaloPSA. This was the thing that Michael was showing earlier on the webinar. We're going to do the full release for this for all tenants that are integrated with HaloPSA sometime near the end of the month. And again, Microsoft Authenticator inside of HaloPSA, which you saw that little radio button there on Michael's demo. And another thing that we're doing is we're going to revamp our self-serve mobile app. We're going to have an improved method for sending alerts to your end users. And we're just going to refresh some of the UI elements so it's more modern and more responsive.
Awesome.
And that's it on my side. Yep.
Neil, thank you so much. I know that, throughout this Feature Friday, we spoke on the feature requests, and, Halo was a very requested feature. Neil listed off some other things that were very requested. If you are a current partner, you can actually scan this QR code, set up some time with your partner success manager, and submit any, feature requests that you may have through them. You can also book some time just to do an account overview. And for anyone who is not a current partner, scan the same QR code. You can book a demo with some of our account representatives and learn some more about our solutions in full. Like I said, in about, I think it's 2 weeks to the day, we will be introducing our Microsoft Authenticator integration. Super excited for that. Another heavily requested feature. Looks like that was Neil in the chat with the HaloPSA setup guide. Not too much action in the chat, so we are going to keep this episode short and get you guys back on your way to enjoying your Friday. Hope everyone has a good weekend. Thank you all for joining us. Any last words from you guys? Oh, it looks like we do have a Q&A. Any discussion of select all check mark for M365 roles? Neil? Select all check mark for M365 roles?
Sorry, I'm not quite sure what spot this select all would be visible in. Is it for pulling
I
in
think it
account?
might be for setting up the automatic import for admins, if memory serves me correct.
Oh, okay. If
Yeah,
it's
importing administrators automatically, it doesn't have a check at the top.
Gotcha. we'll make a note of that, and I'll add it to the feature request board if we're having our customers individually click one at a time to do those imports. Right.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Charles. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go
Does
take a look at
QP
that.
work with our Screen Connect integration? You want to talk about that now?
Yes, I believe we have the word is eluding me, but there's a little sidecar that we can make pop up on the side of Screen Connect, where if you've installed our desktop app, you'll be able to pull a CyberQP set of credentials and pass it through the password field on a system while you're remoting into it. So it's credential injection with the help of our desktop app that kind of brokers the connection to pull one of our passwords. So that's definitely there.
Not working on my end. I'll open a support ticket. Yeah, reach out to your
Right.
actually what I can do, Frolan, is look you up and get in touch with your channel success manager, have them reach out to you, make sure that gets handled. Stefan, maybe you can make a note of that
I
too.
am doing it right now.
There we go. Does that work if passwords are saved to IT Glue and not the vault?
I believe so. It does. We just have to do a second like API call outside of us to go grab it from IT Glue. And as long as that password on the IT Glue side is not one of those vaulted passwords, and something that we can actually get through the API, we can return it and then do the screen injection. Michael, do you know offhand if that is correct? I just want to get a sanity check there.
Yeah, yeah. As long as it's a password that we're rotating and that we have access to through our system, it'll pull it through the IT Glue API. But if you had like some random, I don't know, website login or something that we're not able to rotate with our system, we don't just give you a list of everything in IT Glue. It's only those items that you have associated with us.
Awesome. All right, so we will be following up with a few of you in the chat. Also going to be sending out this recording to you all, and if anyone else has missed it, appreciate your time, and we will see you in 2 weeks for our O365 Authenticator debut. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Awesome.